You're live.
Yeah, I know. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Fry's Corner Bar. And Shannon has a really good cocktail tonight for everyone. The Applejack Sour. We tried it out on Wednesday and found it to be really an amazing melding of flavors that you wouldn't think went well together. And trust me, they really do. A couple of things before we really get into the cocktail is I've posted a couple of new recipes that I tend to make a lot. One of them is a spinach and cheese stuffed turkey meatloaf. Clearly you can substitute other ground meats for that. You don't have to use turkey or chicken. I use a combination of both just to give a little bit different flavor. I also posted a pan-seared duck recipe that I make quite often. And if you have any questions about either of those, please don't hesitate to ask. Reach out to us. I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. And I do have some other ones. I'm going to try to get a couple of soup recipes posted as well because it's starting to get cooler up here, especially in New England. Took the boat out today for its last ride, and glad I brought a jacket. And let's see, what else do we have? We encourage you guys to share our page with your friends and maybe other groups that you think may find our page interesting, and for people that are maybe willing to learn a little bit more about crafty cocktails. We're trying to grow our base, our subscriber base, and we're having a lot of fun doing this. And you know, we got started in this a few years ago, not because of the COVID or anything, but really just because we enjoy on Friday nights, instead of going out typically, we would stay home. I would make dinner and Shannon would make some sort of a crafty cocktail out of her Death and Company or Nomad recipe book. So we're having a lot of fun with it, and that's why we're trying to share this with you guys. So without too much further ado, what she's going to use tonight is Laird's Applejack, and seems like we're on a history roll for the last 3 weeks, and I just realized this tonight when I was kind of doing a little bit of research on this liquor. It was actually first created in 1698 down in New Jersey by a guy named Laird, thus the name Laird's Applejack. In 1760, George Washington discovered it somehow. He liked it so much he asked Mr. Laird for the recipe, which I guess George is pretty important, so he gave it to him. President Washington took the recipe back, made it, and shared it in the Virginia colony, and it became pretty popular. And I'd never heard of it. Shannon actually bought this by mistake a while back, and so we started to look for some recipes to try, and we ran across this one. And I think you guys are in for a real treat. That's all I have to say. I talked way too much last week. Have a great weekend. And here's Shannon, our mixologist. Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday and happy autumn. This is our first Fry's Corner Bar in autumn. Last weekend, Mike and I actually started bartender training. It's a 4-day class. We did it last Saturday and Sunday, and we're going to do it this Saturday and Sunday. We thought if we're doing all of these cocktails, we should probably I wanted to feel like we were a little more legit. And one of the things that we had talked about in that class was ice. And the instructor showed us this Wintersmith's ice sphere. They actually make different sizes, but it makes perfectly clear ice, and it's very hard to get perfectly clear ice in your freezer, mainly because the process of making the ice is it freezes from the top down, and it pushes any of the the gases and the minerals and stuff down into the water below. That's why lake ice is always really clear. So so this Wintersmith is actually, it's a container that you put water in, and then there are actually different cube trays. We bought the sphere because I like the sphere because it fits in that glass. But I made those. It came yesterday. I made that within 24 hours. This size makes 6 spheres. It's a little on the pricey side, but I had some birthday money that my mom sent, so this was my gift from my mom, and it's pretty cool. We had some clear ice cubes, and then you know, like the remains of the bottom, you know, it's just really nice, clear ice. So this drink is actually, can be either served in a coupe glass, so I have our coupe glasses chilling, or it can be served on the rocks, so I have our sphere in there. The other thing, and we also learned this in class, is that the Collins, like the Tom Collins and the Jack Collins, they are all sours, but what you do is you fill your Collins glass with ice, put the cocktail in, and then top it off with club soda, and that's what makes it a Collins. So this drink could also be made into a Collins if you didn't want it straight up or on the rocks. So I am going to get started. We just had the one drink tonight, and as Mike said, it's the Laird Applejack. This is 80 proof. It's really 35% apple brandy, and then the remainder is just a neutral spirit. So it really has a nice crisp apple flavor to it, and it doesn't taste artificial. We also have maple syrup, and we're going to use this Trader Joe's maple syrup that's aged in bourbon barrels, because I thought that Mike thought that bourbon would give it a nice touch. It has orange juice, lemon juice, and Angostura. I'm saying it right, Max. Angostura aromatic bitters. So this, because it has the juice, is a shake cocktail. So I'm going to start by pouring the ingredients. And I'm actually going to make a double. I'm making this cocktail for Mike and I, so I'm doubling up the recipe. But it calls for a ½ ounce of maple syrup. The other thing we learned in class is that if you have a syrup, you always want to pour the syrup first, because when you pour the syrup into your measuring container, then you want to also measure the other ingredients into that jigger, and it will actually rinse out, because there's always some residue with the syrup. It will rinse that syrup out. So that was a ½ ounce doubled, so that was 1 ounce of maple syrup. We're also going to use a ½ ounce of fresh squeezed strained orange juice, and I'm doubling this up. So I'm going to do 1 ounce in the same jigger I used to pour the simple syrup. And then it is 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, and again, freshly squeezed and strained lemon juice. So that's going to be 1.5 ounces. So I'm actually going to do that in my 1.5 ounce jigger. And then it is 2 ounces of the Applejack. And so I'm going to do 4. And I'm going to do 2 ounces in the jigger, because there's still some maple syrup remnants in there. 1, 2. And then this is my 2 ounce jigger, so that's 4. So those simple ingredients, we're going to shake this, because as I said, it has the juice. Fill my shaker about 3/4 full of ice this time, because I'm doing a double cocktail. And then it's a little bit. And then I'm going to pour into the jigger, smack it down. And then this is going to take about, you want to shake it, as I've said before. You want to shake it until it's so frosty you can't hold on to it.
Keep shaking it, baby.
Okay. So I'm going to separate it. How would you like your cocktail, baby?
I'll take it rocks, please.
Okay, so I'm going to pour his on the rocks. I'm going to pour mine first in the coupe glass. I'm going to dump that water out. And I'm pouring it in the coupe first, because in the coupe I know exactly And again, this is double strain with the tea strainer. So that is a good pour for the coupe. And then the rest will go in the rocks glass. Ooh, that rock is a little. Take that back over here. Make sure I'm getting all of that out of there. Okay, and then the garnish for this drink. Oh, I forgot the Angostura. So I'm going to add that now. Just going to add 2 drops to each because it takes 4. And I didn't bring my stir. We have been getting so many solicitation calls for
Everything.
Sorry about that. Okay, now I got the Angostura. Now I'm going to just take fresh nutmeg and a grater and grate that on top of the cocktail. And that's it. That is your Applejack sour. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Love you.
Cheers, everybody. Have a great evening. Please feel free to comment, share our page. We're always looking for recommendations on cocktails that you'd like us to consider for upcoming episodes. Please check friescornerbar.com for recipes. And have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Let us know what you think of the Applejack sour. I think it's just really a well-balanced. You can taste the apple. The nutmeg makes, smells like autumn and the holidays, and I think it's very tasty. Cheers.
Cheers.